use a little countdown thing that everyone else uses.
That's pretty cool.
So, all right, well, we're live, guys. Back at it again with another cute chat. Let's play the game here. Who is going to be the first person to comment and come on? I don't think we have anyone on the shows yet.
Drum roll.
First drum roll. Who's going to be the first
coming
one?
in?
Who's it going to be?
First one wins a special prize.
Hold on.
There it is. Kyle.
Kyle did the project.
Special prize, you won.
Special prize, Kyle. We don't know what the prize is yet. Oh, TS, Michael Fay, Tyler, all at the same time.
Oh, man, all chiming in. Kyle says three-peat. He got it.
So, daggone.
Yeah, big swerve. It's my buddy.
Big Swerve.
Steven. Call him Big Swerve Bar. Big Swerve Barbecue.
Oh, wasn't he used to come on whenever we did the Instagram stuff, didn't he?
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, man, we got to get back to Instagram tonight.
Rodney popped in.
Who? Rodney? Yeah, there he is. So we got a pretty fun game tonight.
One announcement we got.
Yeah, hold on a sec. I'm getting almost done here with these. Which ones don't ban me when I post in them? Which ones don't ban me? I gotta figure out how to stop the dinging on my computer.
What's up, David? Mr. Pavone.
Pavone, last week's guest. All right, I'm done. Dave, what's your announcements here this week?
Well, Jake and I, actually, we'll call it two. Jake and I are actually, he's coming to my house this weekend. We're doing a little SCA practice cook. Stay tuned for that. We'll go live a little bit, play in the backyard.
And that's where we should probably talk about. We're not going live next week, just with everyone being busy with voting and election day. We're not going to go live next week. Yeah. But that's where we're going to have a pretty special thing we're going to put together and do, because we're just going to keep popping out content in here.
Make sure you get out, vote.
Yep. So last week we did the Beast event. That was a lot of daggone fun. If no one saw that live, that was pretty good time. The Beast Brews and Q's. Shout out to our ladies at Barbecue Beast.
They got us a fancy banner. See it behind me?
Yeah, they got us a fancy banner. Dave got it. But be in touch to see that here at some events. Oh, what events do we have coming up that they can see it at, Dave?
So November 7th. We'll be there. Smoke Show and Steak Cook-Off. We're looking forward to it. That's why Jake and I are practicing this weekend.
That's right. We got to practice that doneness and practice that arc and sip combo so we can make John Lindsay proud.
Yeah, we hope to see you all there.
Absolutely.
If not, chime in because we'll be live.
That's right. And we're going to do something special.
We're going to do a little giveaway. We got a little special giveaway.
Well, we're going to do it because it's your birthday.
Yes, my birthday.
And going to be a special question that's asked when we go live that the first person to get the answer to
wins.
Get the special prize, which we still need to do the 500-person giveaway. So we'll work on that too. Don't worry, guys. We haven't forgot about you.
Rodney's going to be there.
Rodney's going to be there.
They're going to be there.
Yep, we got everyone in here. So let's bring in our guest because we got all the Garretts in the chat room. Let's bring in our special guest here tonight. We got Miss Tiffany from This Girl Knows Meat. Hey, Tiffany, how are you doing?
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I am fabulous. You?
We're doing well.
We're doing good. Doing good.
So thank you so much for coming on here. Look forward to talking to you. You've definitely made a name for yourself here in the Mid-Atlantic, even though you live in different parts of the country. You got a real connection with people here in the Mid-Atlantic, mainly because when you show up, you kick butt and leave us all wondering, you come in, you destroy us, and then you run off. So,
well, I do my best.
So tell us, Tiffany, how did you get into barbecue? I mean, that's got to be a very interesting story.
So I don't know if everyone knows, but probably a lot of you do. Hi, BFF. Thank you. So I was a judge for 7 years before I ever cooked. I moved to Maryland in 2010.
And Maryland was like devoid of barbecue restaurants at that point. And so I decided, well, I had no idea that barbecue judging was a thing. I'd never seen Barbecue Pitmasters because I'm from Kansas City and we didn't have to watch that show, right? Because it's on every corner. So when I got to Maryland, watched the show, and I found out that barbecue judging was a thing, and I was like, well, I am the most judgmental person about barbecue. I should be a judge. So I got my judge in New Hampshire, actually. So I had to go in the winter in New Hampshire the year before. So I think that was like December or November of 2010. And then I had to wait to April to judge. And that was Pork in the Park, back when Pork in the Park was a thing. So that was my first ever judging. I set a goal for 10 a year to get my master's at 30 in 3 years. So I did that. I actually went to Judge of the Royal to get my 30th competition. So, and then, and then from there, actually it was Rolf, Robin, and Rodney that held a Q test back in 2015. And back then I was just a judge. And I know it seems crazy, but I was pretty shy. I am pretty shy. I'm not very outgoing. So I didn't really and kind of the judge team thing was still a pretty big barrier for me. So I didn't really know many of the teams. So Rolf sent out a thing asking for judges for this Q test. And I was like, oh, pick me. So he did. And that's where I got to meet a lot of the people that I'm really, really great friends with today. And actually that led me to meet Michael Fay. That led me to go with Porkalypse Now to the Jack twice as a little tag along. Yeah, I know. I've been to the Jack now 3 times. Never competing on my own, but just like as a tag along, a groupie, if you will.
Yeah. You still get to say you win.
I went to the Jack, 3 times. No big deal.
Absolutely. I'd claim it too.
Yeah. So, I've gotten a lot. I've gotten a lot of great experiences in barbecue and then for some reason, May of 2018, I was intrigued by the fact that I could judge barbecue, and I thought I was a really good judge, but I had literally no idea how that product got to my table. And was like that window of 5 minutes. That to me was magic. And so I decided that I wanted to jump in, and I bought my first smoker in May of 2018 and competed in July.
Wow.
I know, go big or go home.
Excellent.
So where's your first competition at?
It was Smoke in the Grove.
Okay.
Yeah, and still my favorite by far. It's a great run competition. It was just, it was awesome for me, because I really, I did really well, shockingly. Other people weren't as shocked as I was, but I kind of went in and I was in the zone. And I think when I compete the best is when you don't even know you're there. It's kind of, you've got no thought really. You're just you're going by muscle memory. You're just cooking whatever. So yeah, but I love that competition. I did really well. That was back when Cowboy Charcoal had a women's fire and ice competition. So I competed with the female pitmasters there. And I cannot believe to this day that I beat these women, because they're some of the best pitmasters, take away the woman out of it. They're some of the best pitmasters. Yeah. Hey, there it was. Hi, me. So there's some of the best pitmasters in that region, and I was super fortunate that that barbecue god shined on me that day, and I stayed sober, which was a good thing.
Yeah, the crowd you hang out with, there's no way you're going to be able to stay sober. I try to go say hello, hi, how are you, and then get out of there before Brant Williams comes out with a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, it's going to go downhill real fast with that.
Yeah, it's do not go into the light, Carol Ann.
Oh man! So how did you do at your first competition?
So it was crazy, and it was so crazy because Brant and Josh had the Wild Child, and when I started out, all I wanted was that trophy. I knew I wouldn't be first in anything. I was hoping I wouldn't be dead ass last in anything, but I thought, man, if I could just find that lucky 11 and get that toilet, that's. It's still the trophy that sits on my desk at work. It's the only trophy that I've unpacked. Yeah, right. That one. Yeah, so that was my first competition. Was the most money I ever came home with, and my favorite trophy. I should have quit right then. Frankly, I should have just been yeah, peace. But yeah, so I won the Wild Child, and I actually won the Wild Child as a 12th place because 11th didn't pay in. So yeah, I'll take it, whatever.
It would have didn't pay in either.
Yeah, that would definitely be me. I didn't pay him the first time I won it either.
Yeah, you don't ever want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I know. Don't be a Jake.
So yeah, so I won the Wild Child. I won the Fire and Ice competition. I think I got a call in pork or ribs or something, a top 10 call or somewhere. Maybe it was top 15. I don't really remember. They do a really good job of like giving awards out past the top 10. So I can't really remember on that one. I got like second place in People's Choice, which that was a fluke because I took all these sample barbecue sauces, threw all this crap in a pan, or just like, get it out of here. Like my timeline's being blown up by this, like get it out of my sight. And then I was like, yeah. So I was shocked. I don't cry because girls don't cry in construction
Right.
or barbecue, but I cried. Yeah.
Wow. So how did you prep up for all this? Were you big into cooking in general? You said you were big into barbecue and were judgy about it, but did you cook it? Did you cook like competition style? Like how did you make that transition to get into the competition style?
Oh my gosh. So when I cooked with Mike Coffroad of Smoking Turtles Low and Slow for my master, that was the first time I'd ever been like up close and personal with the whole cooking process of competition barbecue. So I had no idea. So I got a Weber Smoky Mountain that year, I think. And I was like, okay, let's buy a rack of ribs. I didn't know you trimmed ribs. Like I had literally no clue. And I don't know what I would have done before YouTube. Because I mean, now there's no excuse to build a crappy box or to not know how to trim. I mean, there's no excuse. You're lazy. You know, you're not doing your research, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So I started, and the first time I ever cooked a pork butt on my Weber Smoky Mountain, I probably overcooked it, but like I found the tubes by accident as I was pulling it apart, and it was like, there they are! My gosh, they do exist. It's like little pork unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's what you call it, a pork unicorn.
Yes, I do. Doesn't everyone?
No, I've never heard of it, but now I'm going to. The pork unicorn.
Yeah, I just thought they were like elusive. They were like buried in there somewhere. And there again, I didn't know how to trim it. So I like threw the whole thing on there and it broke apart. And I found some pieces and I was like, I don't know, this is pretty cool. And then the more I got to know teams, especially going to the Jack Twice with me, like he let me in the trailer and watch. I mean, he's a scientist, and like watching his process and stuff. I didn't know I was shigging at the time. Like I shigged for years, I guess, from a bunch of different people. And then, hey, this girl knows whiskey. And a wide variety of other alcohol.
Oh man. So
I want to thank everyone that I shigged for years and years when I was just like this stealthy judge you let hang out. Like, thanks everybody.
That paid off.
Oh man. So that's pretty fortunate. You got to hang out with big names like that and then, get to watch their process before getting into it yourself.
Yeah, I think they didn't know what I would become or what I became, or I don't know. Like I didn't know what I was going to be at that point. Like I didn't know when I bought my first smoker, actually, like, so I got my logo before I ever bought a drum. Cause I was like, put important things first, like get a cute logo and then see how it goes. Right. And this thing probably I ever bought in barbecue. And then when I decided I was going to compete, my thought was I was going to practice for a year. Like get one smoker, try all the 4 meats, practice for a year, and then like come out with your game plan intact. I didn't think I was going to buy in May and then compete in July. But Bob McKee actually had seen me post like, hey, I think I'm going to start cooking barbecue. And he said, well, have you ever heard of this fire and ice thing? And you really ought to consider it. I mean, you have 3 months to practice before you could go to Smoke in the Grove. And that's like a hot pass. So that was like the $1,000 fast pass ticket to the world competition and the fire and ice world competition. So I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I embarrass myself. I wouldn't be the first time. So I like jumped all in and I held 3 practice cooks at my house. And I'm lucky for being a judge for so long that I had master judges come and judge me. Number one, I was judging myself. Like I already knew if I missed my mark, I knew that what I was turning in wouldn't win. It certainly wouldn't be an all nines. But yeah, I was pretty fortunate to have friends come from all over, even up from West Virginia, to come to my house in Frederick, Maryland, and judge my barbecue for me.
Wow, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
so you started off on a WSM?
So that was my personal one, and I had cooked. Well, so the first time I cooked brisket, I sliced it wrong because who knew there was like a way you slice brisket?
Right.
All this stuff that I think like the home cook doesn't even know. And then when I sliced it, I was like, that doesn't look quite right. So I like spun it around and sliced it. And I was like, oh, that's it. So yeah, I started out and I cooked like all 3 meats on Weber Smoky Mountain. But then when I decided to compete, number one, I've only met one other actual true solo pitmaster, and that was Lene Oxley Loop. And I got to meet her at Tilly's, I guess it was 2 years ago, when she was down there with Smoke Crap. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that there were, I had heard that there were a couple other women that did everything completely solo, from all the prep to the cleaning to the loading to the unloading. So I had decided that if I was going to do this, that I was going to do it on my own. So I kind of put the word out, like what smokers, and I went with drums because they are lightweight. Mm-hmm. I could buy one for like $800, and if I decided not to compete, I'd only lost $800.
Right.
And with a $1,500 purchase, so that's why I went that route. They were on wheels. I could drag them up into my rental truck, and yeah. So
we'll get to that because you've had some pretty interesting rigs from what I've seen.
Yeah, they loved me at Enterprise.
So did you start off with just your WSM and your drum for your first competition, or did you just get all 4 once you fell in love with it?
I went all in with the drums. I started with one, and then I immediately bought 3 more. Mm-hmm. So I was all in the first, I guess probably the first 4 weeks. When I decided that I thought I could actually do this, I was like, yep, here goes bank account. Yeah. Credit cards and oh yeah. So I spent a lot of money.
Yep.
Yeah. Because of course you had this list of everybody that you'd seen. So like you need a Cambro and you need this, you need that. And all of a sudden like all of this adds up. And yeah, I was like, well, I'm not going to buy a trailer. So I went the rental truck route.
Oh, that's funny. So what do you cook hot and fast on those drums, or are you kind of right in the middle?
No, I'm a straight up 300. I do it exactly like you're supposed to, and this isn't an infomercial for Gateway Drums, but oh my gosh. I barely have to touch those. And I competed in a pre-hurricane in North Carolina a few years back. Then I made some little foil caps so that the rain didn't go right down my vents. Mm-hmm. You set it and forget it as much as you possibly can, and which helped me because I'm coming from the construction industry. I'm very schedule driven, as you know. You hit the date, so the timeline thing was an easy peasy for me. Like I am schedule driven, so it was like I am up at this time. This starts here, and yeah, I actually found myself nervous because I didn't have something to do. Because you don't have to constantly tweak things. So then you're thinking, I should be doing something, but I'm not. Like, what should I be doing? And so you check the timeline 50 times.
Mm-hmm. You need a So when you cook on those drums, I've seen a couple of people do a couple of different ways. Do you have like a half pan of water in there and rotate, or are you straight on meat to the fire?
Yeah, no, I'm straight on meat to fire. 2 Januaries ago, I went to Kansas City to take the Shake and Bake, Getting Basted, hot and fast class. Mm-hmm. Risked ice storms and all of that to take that class, and then the COVID hit. But that's when I learned that they were using the half water pan and spin. So my plan was to adapt to everything they did except for pork. Like I literally didn't even write down what they did in pork because I kind of feel like I don't know, like maybe a little bit about pork. So I thought like I'm going to stick to my plan and I'm going to adapt to some of the things that they were doing. So I had planned on trying the water pan and the spin, but no, all my cooks were straight on the heat.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Dave, you got anything?
So being that when you started and you've been a judge, and of course that gives you an edge. Have you taken any barbecue classes?
I have heard that more than once that gives me an edge. You know,
I'll be honest with you. Jake and I have both been doing it for.
Don't drag me into this. Don't drag me into this.
Talk about it all the time. Don't act like I say it. I mean, we've talked about doing a judging class and things like that, and I know a lot of it is, it's hard to ask questions to a judge. I mean, even to you or to other people that are judges and things like that. What they want. There's a lot of, you get them comment cards and you look at the thing, you're like, what are they talking about? Like, can they describe that to me for a minute? I had a guy ask me the other day on Facebook, and he was new into it last year. This was his first year. He did one competition, and he said something about there wasn't enough smoke. And he was like, what's that mean? Like, I cook the same way any other time. It's fine, but then I get this comment. I said, I couldn't answer because I really don't know. I mean, I don't know what the more smoke is. He said, I had a smoke ring. I used the same thing I always use. It was just there was nothing I did different from the last time I cooked. But
last time I checked, judges were human.
Exactly.
You get 6 judges, and I don't care if it's the first time they ever judge or a master. It is going to be random. You can randomize the seating process. Like, it's going to be random because that judge got up that day and had orange juice before they came and sat down at the table, even though they're supposed to drink water. I mean, they smoked 2 cigarettes before they sat down. There are so many things that come into play. It's just like, do your best cook on your best day, turn it in and walk away, which, I know you guys cook steak, and steak is more nerve-wracking than anything because I literally don't know what I turned in.
That's very true.
I can't cut into it. I have no idea. I probe it, but I put 5 places and I get 5 different temperatures, and finally I'm just like, it's going to
That's the nerve-wracking thing. You're like, man, is that thing done enough? The temperature's hitting right, but I don't know. I just, you beat yourself up because you can't cut it. You're like, let me just cut into this thing. But oh yeah, it's horrible. But do you feel like, by you becoming a judge and doing what you did and everything like that, do you feel it's helped you, in your career of, barbecue and things like that?
Yeah, I definitely do.
I have talked about numerous times, even in the SCA, to become a judge, and it's just different.
Yeah, I definitely think it gave me an advantage because I had 7 years of judging barbecue from really, really great to mediocre to backyard. I got to see hundreds of boxes. I felt like I knew what a 9 should be. Now, could I make a 9? I didn't know that, but I felt like I knew what it should be.
Absolutely.
So I do feel like it was an edge. But when people say, well, she had an edge, nobody says you can't judge.
Exactly.
Go spend 10 years judging and then start cooking. I put in the effort, I think. Maybe I didn't cook for
absolutely. I mean, it's all about taking a step. If you're gonna pursue it and do it barbecue and then you want to be, then you gotta take all legs of it. I mean, it looks like you took the Apocalypse Now class and stuff like that. And I mean, that's Jake and I have heard nothing but great
stuff about.
Oh, no, that class is amazing. Number one, I mean, Mike Fay is probably one of my earliest influences, besides Rolf, Robin, and Rodney. Like, those are probably my 2 biggest influences barbecue, and I learned a lot.
My chicken stunk, man. I mean, I took Mike's class thinking if I just walk out of here with a chicken plan, what's wrong with backyard? Nothing's wrong with backyard, Chris. You should have stayed there.
Oh, no! Shoot. Oh, Shriver shows up in the comments and gets shot.
So I walked away from Mike's chicken class, and I think that was when I got my first 3rd place in chicken at Smoke in the Grove that next season. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like he says, cook the book. Although I didn't, because I switched to legs instead of the thighs, but I kept the seasonings and the sauce the same. I just thought, I mean, my chicken's so bad, what could it hurt to switch to legs? So I did, and I came out. That was my best ever chicken call. So yeah.
It's definitely on the list of classes to take. That's for sure. And it's a shame this one here canceled. But we were hoping to do it, but also we were into the season and stuff like that. So we're definitely looking to spring on doing that. So, but it's on the list for sure.
Yeah, it's a great class.
So you got into SCAs, and what the last SCA you did was West Newton, wasn't it?
It was West Newton, so I actually.
Where I got second place to you. Said this girl beat me.
This girl beat everybody.
I know. It's in the comments. All the comments are saying, this girl beat me. This girl beat me. This girl beat me.
Yeah, so little did I know when I picked my barbecue name that it would become a thing. So yeah, you all got beat by this girl for sure.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I mean, because if you saw my lead up to that, I mean, I had planned, I was actually packing to move. I thought I would just go into town and like buy everything, like buy a new, because I cook on a Weber Jumbo Joe, and I'm not ever going to cook on anything else unless somebody like pays me. But that Weber Jumbo Joe has done me proud. So I was just gonna like buy a whole new setup, and Rolf was like, "Have you lost your mind? I have everything for you." And between Rolf, Robin, and Ronnie, like I showed up, I had my little bag of spices, and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I didn't practice before, like I did not walk into it like I normally would because I'm a practice addict. Like I don't like surprises, and I don't like to look foolish. So I walked in there, but my main thing was I had like set aside all my goals. I was like, I am here to see my best friends in the world, and I'm going to have a good time, and whatever happens, happens. And I literally don't care. Did I want that trophy? Yes. Did I tell Angel Todd that I was stressed? He's only like, I was like doing this little side to side dance, little shuffle step. Because I'm like, I am nervous. I haven't cooked a steak in a year. It had been a year since I had cooked a steak in competition. So I was, but I had told Angel Todd going up to it, I was like, my best case scenario is I win the top prize and have to spend it all to ship those trophies home. So I'm like, hey, look at what you wish for.
So how did you get those saw blades home? I got to ask that.
So they are still at Rodney's house because I'm like moved, and he was like, well, here, I'll ship them. I'm like, well, no, don't ship them to me, and then I have to move them.
Right.
Like, so yeah, they're still in his custody. They're in safe hands.
Okay. Along with many, many others that the Garretts have collected over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just don't confuse mine, guys.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mine are bigger.
Yeah. Well, Robin got that one last year. Or is it bigger than the one last year?
Well, Keith pointed out when I won mine, he was like, yours is bigger than hers, just saying.
So are you going to go down to the World Championship and cook on a Weber or a Smoky Joe down there? Or Jumbo Joe down there?
Yep, you bet. I'm literally like, I am not changing anything. In fact, I use this weird rub combination that I came up with. It's like a hodgepodge of a bunch of crap. It seems to work. So I am hoarding because they don't make one of the components anymore. So I'm hoarding this little bit, and that's going to the Worlds with me. Now
Really?
I'm going to Big Dan's in December. So
Okay.
I might try to switch things up so I can keep my little hoard to go down there to Worlds. But yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I would be too. Hopefully, Dave and I can each get tickets and head down there too. But I think I'm going to be the one to beat him on that one.
Don't forget your rubs next time.
You hear about that story, Tiffany?
You can borrow mine.
When we went to the Elk County barbecue or Elk County steak cook-off. It was 2.5 hours from my house. Or no, it was 3 hours from my house. And I forgot all my seasonings. I forgot all of them. Yeah, it was not fun. I thought they were in the trailer. They weren't in the trailer. We got there. I looked at Tyler like a ghost, and I'm like, nothing's here.
Did you like go trailer to trailer, tent to
What's
tent?
that?
Did you
Yeah.
go trailer to trailer, tent to like, please, what do you got?
No, that was like the week after I took second place. I wasn't going to go big for help. I show up and Pearl goes, the king is here. The king is here. And I'm like, I'm not telling anyone about anything. And that's probably why Shriver won that weekend too. So I love you, Chris. I'm just joking, man. But so what are you, how did COVID affect you this year? Were you planning on doing more competitions, or with the big move and all to across the country? Did that affect it all?
Yeah, all of that affected me. So after I took that class in January, the hot and fast class, I bought a trailer because I was like, okay,
Nice trailer too.
Yeah. So that's what I used to move my crap up from Colorado to North Dakota. And that's all it's ever been used for because COVID hit And then all the things were canceled. And then by the time COVID started to like allow contests to happen, I was planning on moving up here. So, and I don't know if you've noticed, but there's like nothing within 300 miles of here in any shape of contest. And it's like really inconvenient to travel. So just like flying out of here is ridiculous. So yeah, it's going to be a 2-year dry spell, but I intend on, the one thing about SCA, right, is not only can I fly and use all my friend stuff.
Yep.
I learned from Rolf early on that you can also pack all that in a suitcase.
Yep.
So, I can bust down that Jumbo Joe, pack it in a suitcase and travel in and beg for tables and tents and paper towels and
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you do. Come in, dominate, and win, and leave. That's
yeah. Well, that's why Brent always called me T-Money.
T-Money.
I like that.
So you got a pretty decent. How do I put it this way? You have a piece of article of clothing that makes you stick out more than anything. It's the Boss sparkly hat with your 180 bed.
No, that's still there.
What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so that was crazy. So that was at the barbecue jamboree down in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and that was the second day. I think that was. I'm pretty sure that was the second day. There was nothing remarkable about that pork. The one thing that did happen. So we had the potlucks the night before, and I had done pretty well on pork, I think, but I was like, so I was showing the Smoke Craft boys pictures of my box, and they were like, "You need to turn it at a diagonal, just like ours." So I was like, "Okay." And afterwards, I remembered that that's how Mike Fay teaches in his class. You present at a diagonal. So that second day, I placed everything in my box. I placed it at a diagonal. I was sitting there like, I think that was my only call of the day. And I was just like, whatever. Like, cause that's generally how I am. It's like, whatever. Like it's any given day, anybody, like I can think it's the best stuff I've in the box and I don't get any calls. It's fine. Like it's fine. I've only gotten angry once about my scores and I got unangry about that. But yeah, that day I didn't hear any names called. And then all of a sudden I was the last name called and I was like, what? And then they were like, with a perfect 180. And I was like, wow. And I was like, whoa. So I skipped all the way to the stage. And then everyone was like, well, wow, did you think it was great? And I was like, no, I didn't think it was remarkable. I thought it was the same stuff I do week in and out, but I landed on the table that thought it was better than I did. So yeah,
that's all that matters.
That is all that matters. Those judges.
Yeah, they'll get you.
They'll get you for sure.
Phew, I haven't found that table yet.
Yeah, here's here's a good picture. This your many different setups there. I like the lights.
So that was that Tilly's in, yeah. So that was the pre-hurricane. So that was when the hurricane was coming into North Carolina and everybody was dropping out of that contest. And number one, I'm from the Midwest. So I'm kind of a show me state girl. And I'm like, doesn't look that bad. I mean, I bought the extra insurance on my Enterprise rental truck, or maybe that was I think that was Enterprise. But anyway, so I bought the extra insurance in case I blew off the side of the road and all my stuff got thrown out. But other than that, I drove down there, set up, and I had asked the organizer if I could potentially, since everybody was dropping out, I didn't get the longer site. So I said, is there any way I could get the longer site so I could just cook out of the back of my truck, which I'd never done before. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I strung the lights up in there, set up my tables, wheeled my smokers out, and yeah, I did pretty good in that one too.
Yeah, you do pretty good at all of them.
Well, not all of them. There was one I don't actually quite remember because I thought it was a really good idea to have a Bloody Mary bar.
Oh,
I was like, that is not a good idea.
Oh,
for anyone thinking, no. Yeah, it did not go well for me.
So getting into that, there's one.
Oh yeah, so that was Barbecue Gives Back, Urbana.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the only one. So that was the second day, I think. But the first day, that was the only contest I ever let the scores get to me. And they got to me. And then I went back and I looked and saw that actually my overall total score was higher as a composite than it had been. So I like kind of let myself, but I like put my hoodie up after judging, after scores were out. I like walked back to my cabin. I laid my score sheet down by my pillow and I had my little moment of anger. And then I got up the next day. I think it was 34 degrees in there. And I put together, and I wasn't smart to put my kale box together the night before. So I was 34 degrees, wet kale. Yeah.
Oh.
Was that in like a campground or a park?
Do what?
Was that in a campground or a park?
No, that's in a beautiful campground. It's Urbana, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous campground. So yeah, that one, when we were planning on going down there, I had Brant and Josh say, yeah, we asked to be right next to you. And I was like, no, you didn't, because I have told everybody, you do not get to be next to me. In fact, you can't really be in stolen distance from me. I don't want you anywhere around me. But yeah, it was between them and drilling and grilling. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, it was like a Tiffany sandwich and not in the best way at all.
I've been in a Josh and Brant sandwich at Kyle Hasselbar. That's not a good sandwich to be in.
Yeah, no, it's painful.
It's warm, but it's not nice to be in. It makes you kind of feel uncomfortable and confused. So speaking of, you said the Bloody Mary bar wasn't a good idea to have there. What's a competition that you wasn't your favorite competition to be a part of, other than the Bloody Mary bar?
So what was or what was not?
What wasn't a good competition? Like which one? You know, where did you have a big fail at that you'll never forget or you learned from the most?
No, that was that one. That was BBQ. Yeah, BBQ 2018? I think it's 2018. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The years kind of that was brutal, guys. I don't even remember walking in my brisket box. Like I literally have no memory. It got there and I wasn't last. So I'm like, if I can not be last when I literally don't remember putting that stuff in a box, that must be really good.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway.
Oh man. So you use Snake River Farms brisket. Is that what you like a lot? Have you ever used one from down in Florida, the butcher shop at all?
No, I hadn't, and it's probably because I'm lazy. Like I think you have to call them or something. The Snake River is like boop boop boop, and they deliver it. And plus, you get the cute bag, and so I have like 50 of the really cute little black bags.
Yeah. They do have the bags. It's really nice. The only thing is, it's boop 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 up $1,000, gone.
Yeah, exactly. You get a bag though. You got a nice bag afterwards though.
Yeah, it's $1,000 bag, a couple $1,000 bags.
Yeah, you bring that up. That's probably one of the benefits of COVID, right? Like my bank account looks better than ever because I haven't squandered thousands of dollars trying to win $100 at a barbecue contest.
I hear you.
And then you spend $100 and you win a couple thousand at a steak competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did have to fly in, there were costs.
Yeah, there's definitely associated costs with that. That's for sure. I'm trying to find something that was really, really disturbing here. Oh, I wanted to ask you this question too. So I see you use Compart ribs, right? Or did you just use it at one point in time?
No, I always did. I made the mistake of switching ones, and I won't say what I switched to, but I had heard the term Shiner. I honestly didn't know what it was. Still, even like cooking for 2 years, I didn't know. I thought that was when the rib bone showed at the back of the rib. I had no idea that you could open a pack of ribs and see the rib bone on the front.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. Wow. So I thawed out my ribs because I would always prep before. So I would trim everything, vac seal it, and go because, as a single cook, male or female, like the less I was doing on site, the better. Yep. So I pulled out all these ribs and I'm like, what am I looking at? Like I see the bone. There's no meat on the front of this rib. And that was a stupid mistake. I should never have switched. Like, why do you, and this is the same thing, right? Why do you switch up your game? Like, why are people constantly switching up ribs they use? Why are they constantly from contest to contest? Like, I shouldn't have changed a thing, and I paid the price for it. My rib scores that day were awful, and I'll never do it again. Yeah, I'm a Compart girl.
So, have you noticed? I ordered some Compart during COVID, and so I can guess my bank account hasn't changed much since COVID happened. But did you find that they cooked a little bit differently than regular ribs, or was that just just me and my cook at that time?
You know, I don't know because I had never cooked regular ribs. Like when I first started practicing, a good friend of mine said you practice what you prepare, what you plan to cook. So I didn't never go to Costco and buy ribs, and not knocking them because like Prairie Fresh is great. I mean there's a lot, but I went by what I knew other people were doing, and I used comfort ribs, and I only ever cooked those other ones twice. And I actually I threw those ribs away, and I had to make a frantic drive to Walmart to get not Swift, whatever they are, the one that Tuffy signs off, Smithfield. Yeah.
Smithfield.
Yeah, so I got Smithfield ribs. Yeah, so those still not, nothing against Smithfield, but like not my best rib cook. I was off my game.
Yep, absolutely. Now, do you do any of the ancillaries of competitions? Any extra stuff at all?
Yeah, so I won a Bloody Mary contest in an SCA event. So I did do that, and and at Tilly's 2 years ago. I did make a good Bloody Mary. And it was like I went for the holy cow because I'm trying not to cuss. So yeah, I went for the holy cow. So I made like this ridiculously big flour arrangement out of meats and cheeses and pickled assortments.
Wow, I gotta find that.
Yeah, so I think they don't taste that, right? The judges just taste the Bloody Mary. But I also, I enlisted all of Rodney's friends, and we had 2 practice Bloody Mary tastings. So I made like 5 different Bloody Mary mixes, and then I did one with vodka and one with gin because I'm a gin fan. And I will tell you this: vodka adds no flavor, right? I mean that's the whole thing about vodka. It is flavorless. Gin adds an extra layer of flavor, and I think that's what put my Bloody Mary over the edge.
Wow! Next time you're in the area, I'll have to try one.
Well, you won't find it at my cook site because I learned my lesson.
Because you're not going to have any anywhere. So if I bring the stuff, you have to make one at my cook site.
Yeah, but I will tell you this: when I compete, I go to Amy Overbay's site, and she's a dream and fixes me a Bloody Mary. So.
Yeah. I can imagine that would be a party in and of itself.
Yeah, she is awesome. She is.
She's really nice. Very good guest.
So also in Tilly's 2 years ago, there was the Cabo Wabo contest. Mm-hmm. So I won, that was a winner take all, but I was third in that. So yeah, I like alcohol ancillaries probably because I like alcohol.
At least you admit
it. If I didn't, you'd have a string of people saying, "I'm calling you."
She kidding.
What's your go-to seasoning? What kind of seasoning for competition or home use? What's your favorite go-to seasoning?
Oh, well, yeah, like 20. I mean, you saw that wall of rubs. Like literally, they're all in play at any given time. So my current
you got that, Dave?
Yeah, my current steak seasoning has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 rubs.
Yeah. So some are individual, some are combined. Yeah. And my barbecue, same way. I mean, there's like 3 for chicken, and the pork is really weird because when I started practicing, I thought, well, I'm going to make my own rub, because who doesn't think they're going to make their own rub and then make their own sauce?
Every barbecue person, like, oh, I fixed a really good steak. I'm going to make my own steak rub.
Yeah. So I thought I'm going to make my own pork rub. So I used Joe Pierce's from Slaps. So he had a thing like years and years ago, and I think it might have been when he was on Barbecue Pit Masters, but he like gave his rub recipe. Mm-hmm. So that's what I started. And before I actually started to compete, I thought I would buy rubs and not use that one, but I like accidentally had gone too far with my homemade rub. So like that's still in play, but I mean, it's not really mine, right? Because it's his recipe. But yeah, so no, I mean, there's like tons. Like I use too much. I probably spend more in that than I spend in meat.
So you still use that recipe that he said on Barbecue Pit Masters for competition?
I do because because once you got something that you feel like you're pretty good at, why change?
Yeah.
I mean, unless the judges tell me otherwise, a couple competitions in a row that I am messing up, then I'm not changing anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to do that at all. Don't want to do that. So, okay, I'm mind blown. How do you use 9 steak rubs on a steak? Like, I use one. I don't use all the Argus. We get 2, 3. I think I'm at 3 or 4, not including my marinade.
Yeah, and I don't marinade. So yeah. So no, I don't. And I really, so when I first cooked my first steak, 4 years? No, that was like 2018. So I guess it's been 2 years ago. I was not good at it because I thought like salt, pepper, garlic, right? A little Tony Chachere's because that's what I eat at home, and that's what steak should taste like. And I'd even judge too. So I became a judge first at SEA as well, and I had judged before I ever cooked. But yeah, no, I instantly like started watching videos and like I was not doing it right. But then I still like, I'm a little obstinate, a little headstrong. I don't know, some people know that about me. But I wanted to do my own thing. Like it had to be mine. I couldn't just take something off the shelf, and right or wrong, I mean, it's worked out now for me.
Right.
But yeah, one of the components I use, you can't buy anymore. So when this runs out, I'm like scratching my head going, well, what am I going to do next? So now I'm back to the drawing board and watching shows like yours and hearing all about the Arcus combo.
That Arcus combo. I'm excited to play with it this weekend with Dave. That's for sure. It's going to be very fun to try it out. I haven't even got to try it out. The first cook I did with it, that's how I found out I had no taste and how I had COVID. So I haven't got a chance to really even taste the Arcus combo yet.
Well, I used it on pot roast last weekend, so I mean.
Oh yeah. I've used it on stuff around the house, but I haven't had time to practice, which that's probably not good that I haven't practiced in that long. But at the same time,
hey, you could win. You could just show up, throw some stuff on there.
I know. I got that 3 Eyes barbecue seasoning and the Clay Hill charcoal, and that's pretty much all I used with the last one. I threw my practice steak on. I'm like, this actually hit the mark, and turned it in, and the rest is history. And then of course you beat me because that's.
Oh, that's right, Rolf. I was trying to think of when I took the SCA class. I'm glad you said that because I was trying to think, did I take it down in Fredericksburg? But no, I took it. Yeah, I took it in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something on my list to take. I maybe might take that with Dave up at Big Dan's on Friday night, and then just compete on Saturday. That'd be.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do it on Friday night because that'll just be one more time I beat you.
No, I gotta work. I gotta pay for this.
She's hitting it hard, dude.
I'm gonna go take a driver after this. So what else you got, Dave? You haven't really said much on
I think you've been in barbecue for quite some time now. I mean, do you have a long-term goal? I mean, I know you're away for now on business and things like that, but you kind of just rolling with it.
So I never say never because just in general, like I think you can never say never about anything in your life. But honestly, before I moved here, I sold 3 of my drums. So I kept my first baby, but I knew I was going to be number one, moving a ton of stuff up here. Number one, being here for 2 calendar years with nothing closed. So I'm extremely happy. Each one of my drums went to a very good family. One went to Josh and Ashton, and they've been kicking butt with it.
Nice.
So yeah. I mean, it's one thing to have your babies. It's another thing to let your babies go out in the world and do their thing and not sit and get rusty and dirty and take up space in the garage. And when I need to park in there because it's freezing here. So I'll never do chicken in the world with my drum. Yay!
That's awesome.
It was that flavor I left in there is what it was.
What's that?
It was the flavor I left in the drum.
Oh yeah.
Well seasoned.
How much for the last drum?
Yeah.
No, I threw in I think I threw in briskets and everything because I'm like, dude, if I'm driving to Kansas City with your drum, like, what else do you want? I'll give you everything. You want some beef consomme? Here you go. Although that's I should have sold that like on eBay or something because that's just hard to come by.
Beef consomme? Yeah.
Every
time you go to the grocery store, it's empty. The aisles are empty.
So what are your goals for barbecue? Did you answer that?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say I'm never going to compete in barbecue again, but I will have to live somewhere where it's close. And, I'm getting older every day, and that is a lot of work. I mean, it's, it really I know all of my friends here compete, but it's the week before.
then it's all that weekend. And then you come home clean. And if you're going back to back, then you're going to clean and prep. Like it's your whole life. And like, I like to do kind of like Ralph and Rob said, I got other things I like to do. So I don't know if I'll get back to competing. If I ever move back to the Mid-Atlantic, there's a good chance that I would do that, just because that's what my, it's mostly about being with your friends, it's like hanging out. But right now I like the SCA. I mean, it's easy. You're in and out. I can travel and do it. And, all my barbecue friends do that anyway. So I'm seeing them at one place or the other. So it's, I'm going to stick with SCA for a while, but I won't ever say I won't be back on the barbecue circuit.
Yeah. So
that's
the dog.
Yeah, that's my dog.
I'm looking here. I saw a picture of a duck head, and I'm trying to find it again. And I got to pull it up here because I can't be the only one that sees this. But what's the story behind the duck head?
So, yeah, I was getting ready to move, so I didn't want to order in a bunch of his specialty treats because my dog is spoiled rotten. I don't have human children, so he is the be all and end all. So instead of shipping in all this stuff, I went to this holistic Chuck and Don's pet supply store. So I was looking at all the things. I was like, oh my God, these are freeze dried duck heads. And so and they were all like, oh yeah, it's so the thing. So
there it is.
Yeah. So if it's a thing, but then I was like, are the brains freeze dried in that head? Probably. I mean, the eyeball was there. So gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really disgusting.
Yeah.
That's quite the picture.
Yeah.
Tucker says, hey, Rodney.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong button.
No, don't hang up on me.
No, not at all. Not at all. So we're getting wrapped up here. What advice would you have for someone getting into barbecue other than become a judge or take a class? Because those are what people use all the time.
Yeah. So, become a judge, take a class. But no, I mean, seriously, there is nothing you can't learn on video.
Yeah.
I mean, everything on YouTube, you can learn how to trim now. You can learn how to put a box together now. I mean, you can learn I would say always use kale. And I can't tell you the secret to kale, but if you have another team on, maybe they'll give you their secret to a beautiful poppin' kale box. But I did. No, gosh, I'm not teaching a class. No. I always say I don't know much, but I'll tell you all I know. So if you want to know what I know, I'll tell you. I don't know. To me, I think that all my wins have kind of been fluky. It's a fluke. Do I think I'm a pretty good cook? And you asked how I started cooking. Yeah. I mean, I've been cooking since I was 4,
Wow.
when I tried to make a cake at home and I got my hand stuck in the mixer, back when the mixer. Yeah.
True.
So, yeah, my mom left me unsupervised. It was really her fault. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm a pretty good cook, but I mean, it's just a fluke. I think winning is a fluke. People that do it time and time again, I mean, sure, they've got a program, but you still have to land in that right judges. The judges have to be in their right mind. The product has to be right. I mean, it's still, man, so many things coming together. So I feel like I've been lucky.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very.
What I mean, you've been in barbecue. I mean, who inspires you? I mean, who inspired you when you were getting into this and starting, your early journey in it?
Honestly, I can tell you that there are memorable boxes when I was a judge, and those boxes, the best chicken box I ever had was a Sam's Club, and I think it was the regionals, and it was a box of wings. And to me, that box of wings, number one, I mean, how do you cook a wing like this? It is perfect when it gets to me. The perfect temperature. How did it not get cold? I mean, I was just I had a perfect rib. And that's when I found out that I like blues hog, because I was sitting next to a judge that was also a cook, and they can be the worst. And he was like, well, you must really like blues hog. That blues hog. And I was like, well, I really must, because I would find the guy that did that rib and I'd go out there and marry him and make him cook me ribs every day. So, I mean, I think I was inspired by every cook that ever crossed my table as a judge, really. I mean, to me, it's still magic. And when the magic works for me, I'm impressed, because I
I don't know. I just think it's magic. I think it's a little bit of practice, but mostly it is just everything comes together in some perfect little magic spell.
That's a very, very good point.
Yeah,
That's a very good point.
that's awesome. I like that.
So, yeah, wow. So did you ever find out who made that box?
Yes, I actually do know who made that chicken box. I believe it was Vic Wilkins.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you find out? Just asking around, or like do you eventually find out like who finished where with judging? We've never had someone to talk much about judging on the show yet.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that Q test that Rolf, Robin, and Rodney had let me be face to face with a lot of teams and let me like tell them exactly what I thought and be really specific about the boxes that they turned in. And I think that changed the way I felt about judging, and hopefully I changed the way they thought about what judges could provide. And then I kind of became friends with a bunch of teams. And so that's kind of when I got more on the team side of things.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Very daggone interesting. Dave, you got anything else, man?
No, I'm intrigued right now.
I am too. I'm ready to go take a judging class. Like, that's one thing I've wanted to do is take a judging class and focus on that a little.
It was on my list this year, but that kind of just got thrown to the wayside.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Bob McKee about when there's another judging class coming up within 8 hours of here.
Yeah, and don't stop at the class. Go judge a couple times because the class is kind of weird.
Yeah,
they kind of teach you some weird stuff. You really need to go and sit with judges and judge. And
right.
You learn more from your fellow judges than you're going to learn in that class. No offense to the class people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, here's a good question. What is your favorite meat to cook?
Pork? No, it really is. I mean, I never liked chicken. But as a judge, it became my favorite because I was starving when it came to me. So like I became to like chicken. But yeah, I love pork because it's such a wide variety of stuff you're getting out of that butt, right? I mean, you're getting that money muscle. Like you're getting the cheese. Yeah, you're getting the bacon. Like, I mean, it's just so much you can do with it. And I think that's why people sometimes stumble with pork, is because you can get like locked up. Like my box needs to look like this. And that's one thing I always said, like, I let the butt tell me what it's going to be. I don't go in there with any preconceived notion. I'm hoping I'm getting this and this, but if I don't, I just adapt and overcome and turn in what I think is the best product. But yeah, pork for sure.
Pork for sure. Anyone in the comments got any other questions? We've never done this. We got to make this a segment where people in the comments ask questions. That'd be pretty daggone cool, but it also had to sit here and the three of us would have to sit in all our sides and wonder what's going on. So, well, what are your plans? You're going to be cooking Dan's in Catawissa.
I'm cooking Dan's and Worlds. So yeah, December and then March, right? Yeah, World is in March. So yeah, December, March. I'm hoping to go down there and steal a weekend at Rolf and Robin's new joint in Florida. It's going to be ridiculously cold here, so I'm just going to like sneak down there and be like, hi. Don't turn me away in my little coat.
That's right. Oh, if you're wearing a coat down there, that'd be. Oh,
yeah, I'll be in a bikini and flip flops, man. Because it'll be like
floating in the pool when they come around back. Hey,
that's right. Oh, okay. So here's a good one we can finish up on. What's your favorite destination contest to either cook or judge?
Oh wow! So many have canceled. So there are two. I love Tilly's. So Tilly's, it used to be in Salisbury, North Carolina. They closed that Harley Davidson dealership, but I judged that. And then when I became a cook, I cooked that. Mm-hmm. And I love that contest. The organizers were the best. I mean, it was just really a well-run contest. And there was just, I don't know, it was a great contest. And then Smoke in the Grove, of course. Smoke in the Grove will be always my favorite. My first ever calls, my best ever steak call. In fact, the steak call I got at Smoke in the Grove, they called my number and I went up there and I'd never gotten a call in steak. And Keith was like, that's not the number we called.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no. And he was like, oh, just kidding. I was like,
oh, that's messed up.
I was like, do you realize how humiliated it would be? But yeah.
That's how I felt when I...
So Smoke in the Grove by far has like my best memories of any competition. And it's a great, well competition as well. So yeah, those would be my two favorite.
Absolutely. Smoking the Grove. Andrew does an amazing job.
Yeah, that was a good contest. I enjoyed it this year.
Yeah.
It was my first time this year. It was good.
So,
Yeah,
all right.
great.
Tiffany, where can people follow you, find you, watch your progression in barbecue or whatever you end up doing in the next 2 years here? Where can people find you at?
So obviously I'm on Facebook, This Girl Knows Meat. I have a website, This Girl Knows Meat, that I need to remember to post stuff on. I used to do a lot more when I used to compete a lot more, but I will keep posting on that. So yeah. So yeah, I am on there. I'm on Instagram, but mostly my Instagram is alcohol. So if you like, yeah. So if you like to see pictures of cocktails, I do that a lot. So
Sweet deal. Sweet deal. Well, thank you again so much for coming on here. We really appreciate it. You've been requested a couple different times to come on, and yeah. It's been fun. So yeah. Anything else you have to add? Anything else you have to say?
no, I can't wait to see you all in December and kick your butts.
Yes. No.
And I did not cuss this entire time. I don't think I did.
I don't think you did either, but if not, it's okay.
So none of you got shots. Haha.
All right, Tiffany. Well, thank you so much again, and stay warm, and we will see you in December.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right, see you later. All right, guys. Well, that was fun.
It's great.
What do you think, Dave?
I like that. That was good.
That was very good. Very good. But yeah, we'll get it wrapped up here next week. Again, we're not going to be doing a live show, but the following week we're heading back out west to a very big Instagram name. I think we can probably just go ahead and say it. If you guys don't know who Pit Hustle is on Instagram, he's going to be coming out and hanging with us and chatting some Q. Then we're also going. What's that?
Check them out. You guys are
awesome. Check out Pit Hustle. Hold on, let me pull them up here real quick. You guys can go show them some love.
Facebook, Instagram. I mean, them guys are great. I mean, they're good dudes.
Yeah, Pit Hustle _BBQ on Instagram. He's going to be on the show on the 10th. And then we're talking to a couple different other people, including, but not limited to, the possible, top 10 auxiliary cook in the country. One of the top 10 auxiliary cooks in the country. We're going to come back to the Mid-Atlantic. You all can guess who that is. And he's the 17th, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Aren't they? I'm sorry. Sorry, Carl.
They're on the Blue Boards tour right now.
That's right. So, all right, guys, be looking. We're going to do something fun Saturday whenever I'm going up and hang out with Dave. We're going to go live and hang out a little bit, cook some steaks, and then we'll be back on the we'll be live. We'll do something special on the 3rd. We'll be live again on the 7th when we're at the SCA competition in Lancaster. But, yeah, we will see you guys Saturday, but we'll see you back here on the 17th. Right? No, the 10th. The 10th. See you all in Lancaster. See you guys. Thank you.